workplace microaggressions? Whether you are working or retired, you may have experienced them. But what are they? My guest today is here to break them down. Let me introduce you to Marquise, who has experienced her share of microaggressions as a leader in her field.
Thanks for having me. How everybody?
Here's a statistic. A Glassdoor survey found that 61% of U.S. employees have witnessed or experienced workplace discrimination based on race, gender, or LGBTQ identity, which often includes microaggressions. Marquise, will you define what microaggressions are in the context of the workplace?
I feel that microaggression in the workplace is someone being able to make negative or negative comments towards uh, another person in leadership or a coworker. That's what I feel that microaggression is.
Okay. How do microaggressions typically manifest in a professional setting? And can you give some examples?
Well, yes, they usually manifest in a professional setting if one, that individual who shows the microaggression is allowed to for that behavior to be a regular behavior and dismissed. But I would like to kind of give an example. Like for instance, I had a coworker and we both was interested in the same position. The position required for that position to have a master's. This coworker only had a high school diploma, and corporate said that it doesn't matter because her DCF transcript is equivalent to a master's. And that was kind of little microaggressions because it's almost like I'm going to say this, but not want you to respond. And so that was one of the examples that I experienced before.
Wow. Okay. So, do you think race played a part in that?
I believe race, gender, your sexuality always plays a part in microaggression behavior.
Okay. And what impact did that have on you? I mean, your mental health and even your job performance.
It did not. It did not bother my job performance because I give 110 no matter what I do. But in my mental health state, it did because I had to stop and think that I have things that I need to take care of.
Mhm.
So I had to revamp my character for a split second because I know I had a lot of things to lose.
I understand. Well, let me say this because, coming from a corporate setting, working in public, private sectors, you tend to see where, whatever is going on in someone's outside life, they bring it into the workplace. So they want
Mhm.
to try to be intimidating, or if they have the authority or they have an authoritative role, they tend to want to say things to either belittle or even be aggressive at times towards subordinates or even leadership. So let me ask you this. Have you witnessed any microaggressions at work, and can you share your experience?
Yes, most definitely. Oh, it was so many. Just not just giving the proper resources to people that's in need and just being combative or giving a lot of pushback. It's mainly like leadership. Once if you're connected to your team, it's not going to be a lot of microaggressions towards the leadership. But when you're in leadership, you have to deal with that type of behavior on a day-to-day basis on a regular. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but
But you know it when you see it.
yeah, I most definitely know it when I see it. You have to be able to read people and read the room and read by, like I said, read people because you could be doing something that's excellent, but that person is going to find some way to degrade it or put it down. And that's also to me a borderline microaggression.
I agree. So how can managers and leaders recognize and address microaggressions within their teams? Because I know you mentioned that a lot of times it's in leadership, you get that pushback, but even with your teams, if there's levels and people are hold different positions, how can you recognize and address that?
Recognize it, you recognize it right away. If that individual always has something to say that's against, your policies, your rules, your ideas, then, you would have to just have that one-on-one crucial conversation with them. Hey, let's have this conversation together and let's see where is it where we don't always agree. Like I can understand that not agreeing sometimes, but all the time. What's the problem? Is something other than work? Is it a personal thing? So that's how I would address it. Are you commenting because of a personal issue with me or a work issue? So sometimes too, microaggression is always something more than just work. It's a personality conflict or a personal thing. So
Have you
does
experienced
that
it
make
with,
sense?
oh yes, yes, it does. Have have you experienced those microaggressions within the team environment? Meaning,
Uh,
I know sometimes if you're a new staff member and you come on, if you have your core staff members who've been there, who have what we call cliques, how
right.
experience that?
Almost
You speak on it.
almost definitely. Like my last position as a director when I came on, I had a lot of pushback from the staff, and because I was not who they wanted to, I was not their old boss and stuff like that. But then I also had borderline microaggressions with the team that I was on, and then from leadership. Leadership wanted me to be one way, but my values and my work ethics made me be another way. So yeah, I experienced it, and I experienced it every day at this last job that I had.
Okay. What steps can organizations take to create a more inclusive and respectful work environment?
I think, to be honest with you, having a diverse staff and doing away with cliques and just doing the proper HR training could eliminate a lot of that.
I agree. Sometimes you have the good old boy network and a good old girl
Right,
network, and it's hard to
right,
break down those layers. Yeah,
right. If you don't look like them, you know you're not on their level, or if you don't sing their praises, then you're being um confrontational and stuff like that. No, that's why we need to always in leadership have a diverse team.
I
So yeah.
I agree. So how can employees who experience microaggressions effectively respond to them? Because again, like I mentioned, I know you said in your last position you were a new director, so you were faced with some microaggressions, but you hire staff as well. So how can they effectively respond to being a new team member, walking into an environment where they may face microaggressions?
Well, for my team, it was easy because I had an open door policy, and I was an open book. If anybody felt like they were being bullied, being mistreated, or whatever, I just nipped it in the bud because I'm a strong believer is that our workplace needs to be comfortable. We spend more time at work than we are at home, and you're not going to leave a peaceful place to come to a hostile environment. So if one a team member had an issue with anybody on the staff, come to me and we'll address it.
I love that. All right. So I'm gonna, say clearly there is work to be done. And we will
Mhm.
continue this conversation. I'm gonna table it for part 2 because I really want some specific examples, because I know there have been exchanges that you've been a part of that have
Oh
not
yeah.
been so pleasant. So we're gonna come back, and then
Okay.
we'll discuss how to respond to this abhorrent behavior. Because it's not
Okay.
necessary to, like you said, come to work and deal with all the stressors that you have to deal with and then feel like you're out of place. Thank you. Thank you, Marquise.
You're welcome. Thank you.
As always, self-love is sexy. Be selfish in your love for self and selfless in your love for others. If you enjoyed this video, like it. If you found it useful and want to see more, subscribe. If it pertains to someone you know, share it. And if you have an opinion, leave a comment. A conscious heart will do all four. Thank you.